Okay, okay. Thank you. So there you see the meeting. The meeting is being live streamed on the YouTube channel, that is Arjun Saka's official channel. And so I take this opportunity to welcome all of you in our systematic study of Bhagavad Gita, that is Gita Amritam Rasamalayam. And today we are on session number 26. I'm just recovering from a bad throat. So Arjun Saka Prabhu has agreed to fill in for me today. And we request him to conduct the 7 verses today for the benefit of all of us. These are all very, very important verses. So to do justice to these verses, ideally each verse would take 1 hour. But so he will accommodate, and then in the interest of time, we will skip the quiz session. But we will not forget the quiz. This will be carried forward in one of the future sessions, and we will do the quiz of this session in some other session. All right. So over to you, Arjun Saka Prabhu. Welcoming you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for very kindly being here, and also my heartfelt gratitude to the team of Gita Amritam Rasamalayam for very kindly having me. It's very, it's a very happy feeling to be back. At the same time, to see that we have been systematically going through the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and now we have reached the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And if Krishna so desires, as Srila Prabhupada would say, if Krishna so desires, you should be able to finish all the 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita systematically, not just theoretically, but also from an application standpoint. Before we get started, let us chant the Mangalacharan prayers, also called as the invocation prayers. Seek auspiciousness from our spiritual superiors like Srila Prabhupada, and then get started in our today's discussion. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ये कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. This evening, if you are from India, or this morning, if you are from the US, we'll be studying from the Sri Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is going to be chapter 4, verses 8 to 14. As my father at the start mentioned, that all these verses are such, they're very, very popular. And I'm very sure everyone here has heard it at some point, has read it, and maybe even given exams for it, like Bhakti Shastri and so on and so forth. So they're very popular verses. So it's very difficult to put them in a time slot of 60 minutes, but I will really try my best. If I am not able to, please kindly forgive me. But let's get started. So this is okay. So this is going to be verse number 8 of the fourth chapter. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Very popular verse. Time and again we have heard it in different places. And this verse primarily explains the reason why Krishna appears in this world. Krishna appears for three reasons. भगवान जब अवतार लेते हैं तीन कार्य के लिए अवतार लेते हैं. The first thing is परित्राणाय साधूनां. When Krishna is saying this verse, Krishna is not saying that he first comes to kill demons. Killing demons is secondary. Krishna first appears in this world to protect his devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam. Those who are sadhu, to protect them, Krishna comes down. And in this photo, we have Draupadi during the Vastraharan. She was protected by the Supreme Lord, even though the Lord was not physically present, because she chanted the name of the Lord, and the name of the Lord is not different from the Lord himself. The Supreme Lord appeared in the form of a sari to protect Draupadi. Paritranaya sadhunam. And Vinachaya Dushkritam, in the second photo that we see, we have Kamsa, and Krishna is smashing and punching Kamsa to death. It's very interesting that on the night of the marriage of Vasudeva and Devaki, when the Akashvani happened, and the eighth child is going to kill, when that proclamation was done, Kamsa was so furious that he grabbed the hair of his own sister, Devaki, in order to kill her. And somehow Vasudeva Maharaj was proficient enough to convince to not kill Devaki. But even though Krishna had not appeared in this world, Krishna remembered this. And when he had to kill Kamsa, Vinachaya Chadushkrita, when he had to kill Kamsa, he didn't just kill Kamsa in a normal way. He dragged Kamsa first by the hair. Why? Because his mother was dragged by the hair on the night of the marriage. So we may forget, people around forget. Krishna doesn't forget because Krishna doesn't know to forget. Because his mother was dragged by the hair, ye yathamam prapadyante. Krishna dragged Kamsa by the hair and killed him and destroyed. Vinajaya Chatushrita. So here we see in a more of a flowchart perspective. What is the purpose of Lord's appearance? First of all, he appears millennium after millennium. If you see in the previous slide, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Yuge Yuge means millennium after millennium. So, why is Krishna appearing? First, he's appearing millennium after millennium. But what is the purpose of his descent? Three reasons. One, to deliver the pious. Those who are sadhus, to deliver them. What is a sadhu? A sadhu is a man in Krishna consciousness. Second, Vinachaya Dushkritam, to annihilate those who are the miscreants. Those who are demons, Kamsa, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupal, Dantavakra, so on and so forth. Agasur, Bakasur, Shakatasur, Trinavarta, so on and so forth. To kill all these miscreants. And third, Dharma Samstharpanathaya, to re-establish religion. When Krishna appears in this world, Krishna appears in this world only when adharma increases and dharma decreases. Krishna appears in this world when adharma increases and dharma decreases, and Krishna appears in the heart of a devotee when adharma decreases and dharma increases. Complete opposite. When Krishna appears in this world, it is because adharma has increased and dharma has decreased. But Krishna appears in the heart of a devotee when adharma decreases and dharma increases. So, what are the three primary reasons? One, Paritranaya Sadhunam, to deliver the pious. Second, Vinachaya Dushkritam, to kill the demons, miscreants. Third, Dharma Samstharpanathaya, to re-establish religion. What Srila Prabhupada says. These three reasons are there. But Srila Prabhupada adds Bhaktivedanta purport. Srila Prabhupada says the prime reason why Krishna appears in this world is to satisfy his devotees. This is Prabhupada's statement. The prime reason why Bhagavan appears in this world is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. And what does satisfying the devotees mean? to mitigate anxieties of pure devotees who are anxious to see his Vrindavan pastimes. These are statements of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says those devotees who want to see the Lord and want to see the Vrindavan pastimes primarily, Krishna appears primarily for them. And on a secondary platform, Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinachaya Dushkritam, and Dharma Samsthapanataya. Hmm? But now there is a question that comes. Well, Krishna's agents can do it. Krishna's devotees can do activities like reducing adharma and increasing dharma. Why does Krishna have to appear? भगवान के भक्त कर सकते हैं. Prabhupada can do it. Prabhupada's disciples can do it. Why is Krishna appearing? He can just empower his representatives. Why is Bhagavan coming down? So here we see PVV stands for Baladev Vidyabhushan, from whom Srila Prabhupada writes the commentary, and VCT is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So they are asking this question. But my dear Lord, your devotees, the saintly kings, they appear to wipe out the rise of adharma and the destruction of dharma. So why do you say that you appear in order to do this? आपके भक्त तो करते ही हैं. Your devotees are anyway doing it. Why are you coming? So then Krishna is answering, Paritranaya Sadhuna. I am not coming just to kill demons. That, hey, Arjun is secondary. First is for my devotees. Krishna doesn't come down to kill demons. That is secondary part. First, it is for his own devotees. My devotees are absorbed in relishing my form and qualities. They long to see my form and thus suffer from not seeing my form. In order to deliver them from this suffering by showing my attractive form directly, I appear. So Prabhupada is writing, why is Krishna appearing? Mainly to show his form, his attractive form. And which form? The form of Krishna in Vrindavan. Prabhupada is writing that in the purport. In the Bhagavatam, this form of Krishna is beautifully described. Shamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya barha dhatu prabala natavesha anavritam se anyasta hastamitareena dhunanam abjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam. The pastime of the Brahman Patnis that happened in Vrindavan. When the Brahman Patnis saw the form of Krishna, this verse was spoken at that time. What is the form of Krishna? Shamam Hiranya Paridhim Vanamalya Barha. His form is Shamam. It's like a dark cloud. And Vanamalya Barha, he wears a beautiful garland, Vanamali, forest clouds. Or he wears Vaijayanti Mala. Vaijayanti Mala is a mala made of 5 flowers. Mandara, Kunda, Parijata, Kamala, Tulsi. When these 5 flowers come together, it is Vaijayanti Mala or Vanamala, forest flowers. Dhatu Prabal Natavesha Anavritam se. And what is Krishna doing? Anyasta Hastam Itarena Dhunanam Abjam. Krishna is keeping his left hand on the shoulder of his friend. And as he's keeping his left hand on the shoulder of his friend, with his right hand, Krishna is twirling a lotus. So Krishna is very multitasking. With his left hand, he's putting it on the shoulder of his friend. Right hand is twirling a lotus. And as Krishna is doing this, Karnotpalalaka Mukhabjahasam, Krishna has a very beautiful smile. So Krishna is smiling nicely. With his right hand is twirling a lotus. Left hand on the shoulder of his friend. He has beautiful black locks of hair that are touching his cheeks. As Damodarashtakam described, there are shark-shaped earrings going back and forth, nice chubby cheeks, dark blue skin, and a nice Vaijayanti mala. Prabhupada explains that this is why Krishna appears. He comes to show this form to the world, not to kill demons. जो असुर गण है उनका वध करना ये तो बाहरी दृष्टिकोण है. This is secondary. First, Krishna is coming to show his form. So we see Ramanujacharya is saying, and this is not sectarian. It is not that only ISKCON is preaching. Even Ramanujacharya from the Sri Sampradaya, who is so glorious, even he says the same point. They regard even a moment's time without me as 1,000 kalpas. They become broken in every limb because of the separation from me. So I appear from age to age in the form of gods, men, etc., for protecting them by affording them the opportunity to behold my form and act and converse with me. So why is Krishna coming down? To show his form. then is paritranaaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanataya. Srila Prabhupada to that he writes, Lord Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastime. Again, the same point. Therefore, the prime purpose of Krishna avatar is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. Vinachaya cha dushkritam. Krishna is saying, I also appear to destroy those who are performing evil deeds. Dushkrita. Personality like Ravana, Kamsa, Shishupal, etc. And these personalities cannot be killed by normal people, so the Lord has to appear them to kill. Why? Because these personalities torment the devotees, and Krishna cannot see his devotees being tormented. Aham bhakta paradino yaswatantra ivodvija sadhubir grastaraya bhakter bhakta janam priya. In the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj, Krishna says this point. I don't know anyone apart from my devotee, and my devotee doesn't know anyone apart from me. I don't want to know anyone apart from my devotee, and my devotee doesn't want to know anyone apart from me. Ram Milai Jodi, जिसे बोलते हैं, this is the perfect combination of the devotee and the Lord. So Krishna kills the demons. Why? Because the demons are tormenting the devotees. And here Prabhupada also writes, it is not improper for the Lord to kill, for he bestows on them the bliss of liberation. That cruelty is transformed into an act of mercy. Anyone else in this world, when people kill, when they do a murder, it's only a kill. But when Krishna kills and he also liberates him. Bhagavan uddhar bhi karte hain. This is why Krishna is called as Karuna Sindhu. He is an ocean of mercy. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu. He is an ocean of mercy. At the same time, our Shastra explains Krishna also has a name called as Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. Krishna has a name called as Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, which means Krishna is always engaged in the welfare activities of all beings. Bhagavan sabka keval hit karte hain. He only does good. So someone whose name is Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, how can he do bad to anyone, including the demons? So when Krishna says Vinachaya cha dushkritam, he kills them, but he also liberates them. Srila Sridhar Swami, SS, stands for Sridhar Swami, who is the original commentator of Bhagavatam. Sridhar Swami says, as the mother chastising a child to raise him up is not cruelty. When the father or mother chastises the child, it is not cruelty. It is out of love. Similarly, Lord's action to his demons is not cruelty, it is out of love for them. So the Lord can only see good in everyone. Devotees, of course, yes, but also the demons. Dharma samsthapanataya. I appear to spread dharma, pure bhakti yoga with meditation on me and deity worship only to me and Vedic dharma as well, which cannot be spread by anyone other than me. Again, Srila Ramanujacharya says the same thing. The main purpose of incarnation is the revealing of his adorable form so that all may worship him. Now, an important point. Destruction of the wicked is secondary. Who is saying this? Srila Ramanujacharya. So, if you see, all these commentators are hand in hand. They are not contradicting each other. They're all saying the same point. They're all saying the same point. There's no ambiguity. And of course, for those who are good at Sanskrit, you can read the words. I will not attempt to do it, but you can take a screenshot and you can read the reference of what Ramanujacharya is saying this. Now, when Krishna is saying he's appearing Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, someone can have the question that, well, when did Krishna appear in Kali Yuga? He appeared in Satya, Treta, and Dwapar. Bhagavan Kali Yuga mein kab avatar liye? Well, Krishna appears in Kali as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His prediction, the culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world from town to town and from village to village. He's an incarnation of Krishna and it is directly there in the Shastras. This avatar does not kill the miscreants. Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not kill anyone, but he killed the demoniac tendencies in the heart. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya that everyone has. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Krishna, comes down to this world and gives the medicine of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. इति षोडशकं नाम्नां कलि कल्मष नाशनं नात परतर उपाय सर्व वेदेषु दृश्यते यद आपनोति तद आपनोति कलो संकीर्तकेशः. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains these 16 names of the Supreme Lord. कलि कल्मष नाशनम, कली के जितने भी कलमश है, all the evil things of Kali that are there, नाशनम, the holy name destroys everything. नाहत परतर उपाय, और कोई उपाय नहीं है, there is no other solution. सर्व वेदेषु दृश्यते. After going through all the Vedas, Shukadev Goswami and Vyasadev, they are saying there is no other way, no other way, no other way apart from the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, how does Krishna come down in Kali? He comes down as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Paritranaya Sadhunam, Vinachaya cha Dushkritam, Dharma Samsthapanataya, Sambhavami Yuge. We go to verse number 9. Another popular verse. I told you, from 4.8 to 4.14, there are so many popular verses. This is verse number 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vedi tattvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Krishna here is saying, Janma karma cha me divyam. His birth, Janma, his karma, his activities, cha me divyam. They are all divyam. The word cha in Sanskrit means and. If you see in English, when you use two words, Janma and Karma, you will say Janma and Karma. You will use the and in between. In Sanskrit, you always use the word and after the words are done. Janma Karma Cha. And if you see throughout the Gita, throughout Bhagavatam, throughout any scripture, you will see this. Why? Because it's a rule of Sanskrit. The word and or cha is always used at the end. Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. Evam yo veti tattvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti soarjuna. In essence, Krishna says that my birth and my activities are divyam. Evam yo veti tattvatah. Anyone who understands this in tattvatah, in truth, in reality, tyaktva deham, after giving up his body, punarjanma naiti. Punarjanma nahi hoga. He will not take another birth. Mam eti soarjuna. Who is saying? Krishna is saying. To whom? To Arjuna. And Krishna's birth and activities are indeed very wonderful. We see here, all these pastimes are super sweet. Krishna appears in Mathura as Vishnu, then he transforms as Krishna. Then in the middle, we see Vasudeva Maharaj is taking Krishna across Jamuna. And then we see to the bottom left, Krishna has eaten dirt. Krishna has eaten dirt. And when Mother Yashoda asks Krishna, did you eat dirt? Krishna says, no. Confidently, Krishna lies. I didn't eat dirt. When Mother Yashoda is asking, Krishna says, Naha bhakshitavan ambe sarve mithyapi samshaya. Hey Ambe, hey Mother, Naha bhakshitavan. I didn't eat dirt. So Mother Yashoda is saying, Krishna, are all your friends lying? All your friends just told me you ate dirt. Are they all lying? Krishna saying, yes. सब झूठ बोल रहे हैं. सब मिथ्या है. सर्वे मिथ्या भी संशय. My dear mother, don't trust them. They're all lying. They all are making a prank against me. So this is Krishna's Vrindavan pastime. And Krishna, Mother Yashoda tells Krishna to open the mouth. Krishna opens the mouth. And lo and behold, she sees the whole universe. Not just one universe, multiple universes. And Mother Yashoda is bewildered. Is he my Krishna or is he someone else? And then Krishna yawns. Our baby Krishna, he yawns. And when Krishna yawns, Mother Yashoda forgets everything. 1 minute prior, she had seen the whole universe. With one yawn of Krishna, Maya forgets everything. Krishna says, Janma karma chame divya. My activities are divya. And then, of course, we see Krishna has the dance in Vrindavan and he shows the Virat form to Arjuna on the battlefield. Srila Ramanujacharya again says, destroying all sins which are unfavorable for surrender to me by true knowledge of my spiritual birth and activities, taking shelter of me in this life in the prescribed way, that person who holds me alone as dear, constantly thinking of me, attains me. So the same point. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he writes, what is this word Divya? Janma Karma Chame Divya. Divya ka arth kya hai? So he writes, Ramanujacharya and Madhusudan Saraswati, very prominent commentators. Ramanujacharya and Madhusudan Saraswati, they say the word Divya means non-material or spiritual. Who is Madhusudan Saraswati? Just for context for devotees, Srila Jiva Goswami learned Sanskrit from Madhusudan Saraswati. So that's how glorious Madhusudan Saraswati is. Madhusudan Saraswati says, what is the word Divya? Divya ka arth hai non-material. Arthat spiritual. It means spiritual. Sridhar Swami, as we mentioned earlier, he says the word Divya means uncommon. Or in colloquial Hindi, hatke. We say na hatke. ये बहुत hatke hai. So uncommon. As this means that it is not related to the material world, it also means it is spiritual. Being spiritual beyond the gunas means that the Lord's birth and activities are eternal. So the word Divya has been explained here. Srila Jiva Goswami now. So the Guru was explained earlier. Now Jiva Goswami, in his book called as Bhagavad Sandarbha, he says the same point. Na vidyate yasya na janma karmava na nama rupe guna dosha evava. He says the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. No material. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Ram or Lord Krishna by his original internal potency. He has immense potency and in various forms, all free from material contamination, he acts wonderfully. He is therefore the Supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him. So, Ramanujacharya, Madhusudan Saraswati, Sridhar Swami, Jiva Goswami all say that the word Divya means non-material. It means spiritual. Why are we giving different names and different personalities and their references so that we have no ambiguity in the mind that Krishna's activities and my activities are same? Someone can say, well, I am taking birth, Krishna is also taking birth. What's the difference? I am doing activities, Krishna is doing activities. What's the difference? To not have this confusion, these commentators are saying the word Divya means spiritual. It is not material. Krishna's birth is not like our birth. Krishna's activities are not like our activities, and so on and so forth. Yo veti tattvata, janma karma chame divyam, evam yo veti tattvata. What does yo veti tattvata mean? He who knows that my birth and activities are eternal. He knows it in tattva. And we find Srila Prabhupada is saying that, Baladev Vidyabhushan is saying that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Srila Prabhupada then writes, anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says that the Lord, who says unto the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord is guaranteed. So if someone wants to guarantee their entrance into the spiritual world, Srila Prabhupada is saying that all they have to do is go to the Supreme Lord and say, my dear Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, you are the personality of Godhead, I have come to you. Please accept. I don't know if you can hear the bell, but that's truth. Someone rang the bell. Baladev Vidyabhushan says, the following statement would be contradicted if one did not gain liberation on knowing the Lord. Shvetashvara Upanishad says the same point. Knowing him surpasses death. भगवान को जानने मात्र से the living entity can cross over death. There is no other path for going apart from knowing the Lord. Shvetashvara Upanishad. So it's not a centric point that only ISKCON is saying or only Sri Sampradaya is saying. Even the Upanishads are saying the same point that without knowing Bhagavan Sri Krishna, there is no other path of going beyond death. Srila Prabhupada then writes, he who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculation attains the highest perfectional stage of liberation, which means those who accept this truth with faith, without any doubt, they attain liberation. श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कइले सर्व कर्म कृत होय. To attain God, भगवान को पाने के लिए एकमात्र लक्षण यही है, faith, श्रद्धा. That's the only quality that can help the living entity attain God. I'll share a story. We are talking about Sridhar Swami, SS, Sridhar Swami. Sridhar Swami, he was married. Earlier, he was married. He was a grahastha. And eventually, it so happened that his child appeared in this world. And when his child appeared in this world, in due course, his wife died. So when his wife died, he was the only person. Now he didn't know how to take care of the child. So he was wondering what to do. He wanted to preach, he wanted to bhakti, but now his wife had died and the child was very small. As he was thinking this way, on the ceiling of the house, he saw a baby lizard, chipkali. He saw a baby lizard, and that lizard was eating something. And when Sridhar Swami saw this, he was thinking to himself, this baby lizard is so small, but Krishna is maintaining the baby lizard. He's giving food, he's giving anna to the lizard, and he's taking care and maintaining the lizard also. Sridhar Swami at that time he thought to himself, if Krishna can maintain this baby lizard, why will he not maintain my child? जब भगवान चिपकली का रक्षण कर सकते हैं, जब भगवान चिपकली को अन्न दे सकते हैं, भगवान हमारे पुत्र का रक्षण क्यों नहीं करेंगे? Why will he not take care of my child? Thinking that, Sridhar Swami left home to preach. And he went out and started writing commentaries that we are taking help of, that we are taking shelter of. After 25 years, 25 साल के बाद, Sridhar Swami came back to that village. And when he came back to the village, the locals, they said, do you know there's one boy here? He gives excellent katha. He is a very, very exalted devotee. बहुत सुंदर तरीके से कथा करता है. He speaks amazingly. You should listen to him. So Sridhar Swami said, Acha, okay, I will listen to him. And he sat in the katha. And when he sat in the katha, lo and behold, he realized this is not anyone else. This is my own child that I left 25 years ago. 25 साल पहले जो पुत्र को हमने त्याग दिया था, that Krishna was maintained. Krishna not just maintained him, Krishna maintained, took care, took shelter of him, and also gave bhakti in his heart. How did this all happen? Because Sridhar Swami had faith, Shraddha. This is the point Prabhupada is saying here. Without faith in the heart, one cannot be liberated from this world. बिना श्रद्धा के कोई भगवान को नहीं पाता. त्यक्त्वा देह. Same point. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting this present material body. तो यदि भगवान को पाना है, the only requirement is faith. And then Prabhupada writes, such liberation is not easy. Why? Because the yogis are there and they attain liberation after much trouble for many, many years and after many, many births. But still they run the risk of coming back to this world. But then Prabhupada writes, a devotee does not, it should ideally be capital letters. A devotee does not run the risk of returning to the material. So more than becoming a yogi or an impersonalist, our goal should be to become a devotee, to be a bhakta. Verse number 10. It's been about 35 minutes and we have finished only 2 verses. But hopefully we can finish the other verses also. This is verse number 10. Another popular verse. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashitaha bhava jnana tapasa utamad bhavam agata. If you see here, what is this verse explaining? What is the problem of a materialist? What is our problem mainly? We have three problems. Rag, Bhay, and Krodha. Rag means attachment. Everyone on this call has material attachment. right? Everyone has material attachment. ऐसा कोई नहीं है जो ये बोल सके कि भौतिक इच्छा ही नहीं है. Everyone has material attachment. So Krishna starts his verse by saying, one, with the raga. Raga means material attachment. When someone has material attachment, it leads to negligence of spiritual life. Why? Because when you have so much material attachment, there is lack of impetus to go to Krishna. Kunti Maharani, the mother of the Pandavas, she says this, Janma Aishwaryashuta Shri Edamana Madapuman Naiva Hatya Vidhatum Vahitvam Akinchana Gochara. Kunti Maharani says there are four things. If it is there in excess, it will be very difficult for the person to get Krishna. What are the four things? Janma. If someone is born in a very high class family, very aristocratic family, what is the impetus for them to go to Krishna? Because they are born in such ऊंचे कुल में जन्म हुआ है, there is no impetus to go to Krishna. They will be proud that I am born in a very high family. Janma. Second, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shri. We have birth, beauty, Shruta means education, and Shri, Lakshmi Devi, money. When people have these four things in excess, what are the four things? High birth, very beautiful, Miss India, Miss Universe, Mr. India, Mr. Universe, so on and so forth. Because they are considered Miss and Mrs. of the whole world, the chance for them to go to Krishna is very less. One time, one lady, she was Miss Mexico. She came to Srila Prabhupada and she sat down. So Srila Prabhupada looked at her and said, did you take tour of our temple? She said, yes, yes, Swamiji, I saw the temple. I will again come back. Srila Prabhupada said, why will you come back? So she was surprised. So she said, Swamiji, no, I will come back. Prabhupada said, why will you come back? Have you read my books? So she said, no. So Prabhupada said, have you associated with the devotees? She said, no. Prabhupada said, have you had prasadam? She said, no. Prabhupada said, why will you come back? Without associating with devotees, without going to the temple, without reading books, even if someone is Miss Mexico, there is no impetus to come. There will be lack or negligence of spiritual life. It is only in the association of devotees where this material attachment can be dispelled away. So with a raga, first, raga, material attachment, it leads to negligence in spiritual life. Second, bhaya, fear, doesn't require any explanation. Everyone on this call has fear. If you go 5 years ago or 6 years ago, let's say, coronavirus, the whole world was in fear. 100 years ago, Spanish flu, the whole world was in fear. I remember in 2010, you had H1N1, swine flu, whole world was in fear. It comes in different shape and form. Fear doesn't go away. And when there is fear, again, there is negligence of Krishna consciousness. Third, krodha, anger. Everyone has anger issues, right? Everyone gets angry. Again, this anger is such, Srila Prabhupada writes, when a person becomes angry at all sort of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness. When a person is angry, he takes to intoxication. And when he takes to intoxication, he accepts hallucination as spiritual vision. This is very common in India, very common in America. In America, it may be LSD. In India, it may be ganja and all those things. People think by having ganja, they will become Lord Shiva, or by having bhang, they're going to become Lord Shiva. So Srila Prabhupada writes, from anger, people take to intoxication. From that intoxication, they start accepting hallucination as spiritual vision. What is the what is the result? Their final result is they cannot understand the personal nature of the Lord. भगवान क्यों अवतार लेते हैं, क्यों जन्म करते हैं, क्यों कार्य करते हैं, how that is divyam. These people cannot understand. Why? Because they have these three problems. Vita raga, bhaya, krodha. Material attachment, bhaya, fear, and anger. But Krishna is such a personality. He does just doesn't say the problem. He gives the solution also. What is the solution to get out of these things? to take complete shelter of the Lord. पूरी तरीके से भगवान के आश्रित हो जाओ. The way Srila Prabhupada has taught, to put our hands up and go to the Lord and say, my dear Lord, I completely surrender. From this day onwards, I am yours. To take complete shelter of the Lord. And to do this under the guidance of a spiritual master or a spiritual teacher. This is very, very important. We cannot make any advancement in Krishna consciousness without a spiritual guide. Impossible. Just like in this material world, we may have the books for engineering, we may have the books for medical science, we may have the books for becoming a lawyer, but you and I accept that even if you know English and even if you can purchase a book, still you need to go to a university where a teacher can teach you and get a proper degree. So for material education, for material degrees, when you and I agree that you need to go to a teacher, the same logic applies in bhakti also. We have to go to a spiritual mentor, a spiritual guide, a spiritual master, whatever you call, and take shelter of them and learn Krishna consciousness from them. Under the guidance of spiritual master, we follow the regulative principles and the path to go beyond raga, bhaya, and krodha. What is the path to go beyond all these three things? It is the 9 stages of devotional service. The 9 stages of devotional service that are there are the way to go beyond raga, bhaya, and krodha. What are the 9 stages? Adho Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. Underneath all the Sanskrit terms, we see there is English also. So, by having faith, as we said earlier, Shraddha, having faith will lead us to Sadhu Sangha that we are doing right now. That we all do every Saturday, Gita Amritam Rasamalaya. That is Sadhu Sangha. With faith, you join Gita Amritam Rasamalaya, which is Sadhu Sangha, and under the guidance of the teachers, you start doing bhajana kriya. You start doing bhajan. Once you start doing bhajan, there is anartha nivritti, the unwanted substances that are there in the heart. Kama, krodha, lobha, bhaya, etc. Vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. These things are removed from the heart. Anartha nivritti. When that is removed, what happens? Nishtha, steadiness. The person is firm in bhakti. Then there is ruchi, there is taste in Krishna consciousness. There are two kinds of people. One, for whom Krishna consciousness is a force. बोलना पड़ता है माला करो, बोलना पड़ता है क्लास सुनो, बोलना पड़ता है सुबह उठो इत्यादि. And the second class of people are those who do it naturally. That is ruchi, taste. Then is asakti, attachment. Attachment not to this world, attachment to Krishna, attachment to Krishna's world. And then you have bhav, emotions of love, and prema, pure love. This is given in a book called as The Nectar of Devotion. So in this verse we find, what is the problem statement? The problem statement is we have 3 problems. Vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. Raga, bhaya, krodha. These are the 3 problems. Raga means material attachment. Bhaya, fear. Krodha, anger. What is the way to get past them? The 9 stages of devotional life, as explained here. We go to verse number 11. Another popular verse. We have heard it so many times. Very, very popular. Ye yatha ma prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manusha pata sarvashah. Krishna here, he says, Ye yatha ma prapadyante. The way you approach me, I will reciprocate to you. Actually, Krishna is being really generous when he says this. Why? Because he just doesn't reciprocate. He reciprocates 10x of what we give. I'll give you a few examples. In this photo, you see the fruit vendor lady is giving fruits. But Krishna didn't do ye yathama. He didn't give fruits in return. He gave jewels. He didn't give fruit के बदले में fruit नहीं दिए भगवान. He gave jewels. He gave 10x. What is the another example? We find during the Mahabharata, when the Pandavas were in exile, that time Durvasa Muni came with all his disciples. And Draupadi didn't have anything to offer to them. Krishna just had one morsel of rice, or some say one spinach. He had little. What happened? He gave 10x. All the 60,000 disciples of Durvasa Muni, including Durvasa Muni, their stomach was full. So Krishna is not just Ye Yathamam, he is Ye Yathamam 10x. Another example, Draupadi Vastraharan. She gave little cloth to Krishna. He gave full sari to her. When she required the most, she gave little cloth, he gave the full sari. Another example, Sudama gave little chipped rice. When he came back, Krishna blessed him with immense wealth. He had a palace. So many examples. Similarly, the Shastra explains in the month of Kartik, when we offer one lamb to Damodar, one lamb to Krishna, the person is freed from thousands and thousands of lifetimes of sin just by one lamb. It is not just the Yatama. Krishna is actually being very, very kind here. He does much more than what he is stating. Shastra explains one tulsi leaf that is offered to Krishna is more valuable than heaps of gold. यदि एक साइड में सोना रखे gold and another side you keep tulsi, Krishna will pick tulsi over the gold. Advaita Acharya offered one tulsi, the Supreme Lord had to come down. So it's not just a yathamam dear devotees. Krishna does that much more. We do little, Krishna does much more. But from a devotee standpoint, what is the devotee aspiring for? Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he writes, Ye yathama prapadyanti tamstataiva bhajamyam. What should the devotee be aspiring so that Krishna can reciprocate? Srila Prabhupada writes, a devotee should be aspiring for these five rasas. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as a supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally according to the different intensities of love for him. This is the speciality of Gaudiya Sampradaya. If you go to other Sampradaya, like for example Sri Sampradaya, the relation that the devotee has with the Lord is only one, Dasya Ras. Ami Tomar Das. My dear Lord, I am your servant. That's the only rasa. But if you come to Vrindavan Dham, you are welcomed with a variety of rasas. The Supreme Lord says, you pick. Whichever rasa you want with me, you pick. You want me to be a friend? ठीक है, हम आपके दोस्त बन जाते हैं. You want वात्सल्य? ठीक है, हम आपके पुत्र बन जाते हैं. You want madhurya? ठीक है, I will become your lover. And if you want dasya, Krishna says, ठीक है, I will give you that also. Krishna puts the ball in your court. You decide. So Srila Prabhupada there he writes, a devotee should be aspiring for this, to attain this relationship with the Lord. That is the purest form of ye yathamam prapadyante. The pure devotees both here and in the transcendental abode associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. I'll just share a very quick story. When we are saying Ye Yathama, that Krishna reciprocates, it's a story that is very, very dear to my heart. When I heard it for the first time, I have shared it hundreds of times, but still, it's a story that's very dear to my heart. There was this one lady in Chennai, and she was departing this world. She was in her last few days, and she told her son that, my dear son, why don't you go to the local ISKCON Chennai temple and get a photo of the deities and keep it in front of me so that when I die, I can see that photo and depart this world. Fair enough. The son went to the temple, ISKCON Chennai temple, and he saw the gift shop. And lo and behold, in the gift shop, there was not even a single photo of the local temple. Very, very rare. But hold on, you will understand at the end, you will understand why there was not a single photo. He searched the gift shop. The local temple did not have a single photo of the deities. The temple president called him and said, you come to my home, let's see if there is something. He went to the house of the temple president. The temple president searched, and even he did not have a single photo of the local temple that he could give to this son so that the son can frame a photo and put it in front of his mother so that the mother can see the form and die. The temple president did not have it. But the temple president said, wait a minute, I have Shri Krishna Balram of ISKCON Vrindavan. You take this photo, Krishna Balram of Vrindavan and Krishna Balram of Chennai, no difference. It's the same. So you take. So the son said, fair enough, there's no difference. Bhagwan kidhar ke bhi kyun na ho, Seattle or Mumbai or Vrindavan, the Lord is Lord, there's no difference. So he made a nice photo of Krishna Balram, ISKCON Vrindavan, and he put it in front of his mother. The mother eventually saw the form of Krishna Balram and departed this world. After she departed, in our Vedic customs, we have 13th day. 13th day hota na. So the 13-day devotees were called, ISKCON Chennai Brahmacharis were called, and they did Kirtan, etc. And at one point, the son said, actually, my mother has seen Prabhupada. The brahmachari said, what? Your mother has seen Prabhupada? How is it possible? He said, no, really, my mother has seen Prabhupada. They said, okay, what's the instance? The brahmacharis, at the start, they did not believe. They thought the son is just making up a story. He said, no, no, really, my mother has seen Prabhupada. Actually, in the 1970s, Prabhupada came to Chennai and Prabhupada did a Pandal program. And in that Pandal program, Prabhupada, at the end, he said, I am building ISKCON Chennai and I am in need of donation. So if you all think it is appropriate, please kindly help me so that I can build an ISKCON Chennai temple here. And this son, he later said, my mother, at that time, she was in her early 20s. When my mother heard that, she went to Srila Prabhupada and gave a check of about 10,000 rupees in the 1970s, which is a lot of money back then. So when the brahmacharis heard this, they said, Acha, okay, let's see. Prabhupada was very meticulous. All the money that came in, Prabhupada made a record of it. So they decided to go back in the years to see whether this lady actually gave the 10,000 rupees or not. So they went back to the 70s and they found the exact check and the check number and all the details pertaining to this lady who had actually given the 10,000 rupees. Prabhupada was so meticulous, every money that came in, Prabhupada made a note of it. But here comes the interesting part. Prabhupada, in the notes section, in the comments, he wrote that the construction of ISKCON Chennai temple is complete. That is why I am diverting this money to the construction of ISKCON Krishna Balram Mandir Sri Vrindavan Dham. Prabhupada wrote, Chennai temple construction is complete. I am using this money now for the building of Krishna Balram temple. Now, dear devotees, you know why that son did not get Chennai temple photo, but he got Krishna Balram. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamiham. You may forget. The world may forget. Krishna doesn't forget. That lady gave 10,000 rupees for Krishna Balram once. And at a time when she needed the Lord the most, that same Krishna Balram came in front of her and gave her darshan and she departed this world. So, ye yathama prapadyante. The Lord is very kind to his devotees. Verse number 12. Kankshantah karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, however, among men, those who are full of desire give up the path of bhakti, even though it is coming directly from me, and follow the path of karma, which gives quicker results. So, what is this verse talking about? Very fundamental question. Demigod worship or Krishna worship? Should we worship Indra, Chandra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna, and all those personalities, or Bhagavan ki puja karna? Should we worship Krishna? This is the theme of this verse. Demigod worship for material assets. Why do people go to demigods? So that they can get their material things. Sukha Shanti Ghar Aave Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Right? You want Sukha Shanti, and that's why people go to the Lord. We want a bigger house, we want a bigger this, bigger car, one car, two cars, three cars, petrol car, diesel car, now electric car. Right? People go to the Lord for everything. India is fast catching up with America. In this visit, I was seeing so many electric cars. India is very fast catching up with the Western world. So most time people do demigod worship. Why? Because they want this. And the interesting part is they go and tell the Lord, my dear Lord, if you do this for me, 11 nariyal chadayenge. I will offer you 11 coconuts. As if Krishna doesn't have coconuts. As if Indra, Chandra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna, they don't have coconuts there. Yadi wo chahe, if they want, they can make a coconut tree. So they are not going to be impressed by 10 coconuts, 11 coconuts. So the point is, demigod worship for material assets or worshipping Krishna for returning back home, back to body. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam, yah samsare bahudustare kripaya pahi pahi murare, bhaja govindam, govindam, bhaja purnamate. Shankaracharya is saying this. Then please worship Govinda, please worship Govinda, please worship Govinda. Why? So that you can return back home, back to God, back to where we all belong. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who's the guru of Srila Prabhupada, famously one time he said, this material world is not fit for gentlemen. This material world is not fit for gentlemen. I remember I was in US and I said this, that it's not fit for gentlemen. So one girl came and she said, how about women, Prabhuji? How about women? So I said, gentleman means gentleman, gentlewoman. It's a broader statement. This material world is not fit for gentlemen, Saraswati Thakur would say. So the point here is, whether we worship all these personalities, men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results. Again, men, women, both. Let's not bring feminism and other perspectives here. Men, women, both. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So when we go to the demigods, like for example, we see Ravana went, Hiranyakashipu went to Brahmaji and asked for so many boons. I should not be killed inside the house. I should not be killed outside the house. I should not be killed in the air. I should not be killed in the land. I should not be killed in the sea. I should not be killed in the weapons. I should not be killed in morning. I should not be killed in afternoon. I should not be killed in night. I should not be. I should not be killed by humans. I should not be killed by animals. कितना कुछ भगवान से, कितना कुछ ब्रह्मा जी से मांगा, क्या हुआ? भगवान फिर भी आगे वध कर दिया. The Supreme Lord is such a personality. In spite of all these boons that Hiranyakashipu got from Brahmaji, the Supreme Lord was still one step ahead. भगवान के साथ चालाकी नहीं करनी चाहिए. भगवान बहुत चतुर है. उनके साथ चालाकी यदि करेंगे, हमारा ही नुकसान होगा. Even if you're Hiranyakashipu, the Lord is one step ahead. He kept all these boons and still killed him. Actually, the Narsingha Puran says, very, very fantastic. Narsingha Puran says that in one of the kalpas, Hiranyakashipu even said, I should not be killed in the 12 months. 12 महीनों में मेरा वध नहीं होना चाहिए. So now what is remaining? If you are not killed in 12 months, how will you kill? So Narsingha Puran explains, the Supreme Lord created an extra month, Adhik Mas, Purushottam Mas, and still killed him. If you think you're smart, Krishna can create a 13th month to kill you. आपका वध करने के लिए भगवान एक और महीने का he can create and then he can still kill. So the point is, whether we go to demigods and the boons are anyway going to be finished, or we go to Krishna so that we can go back home, back to God. Srila Prabhupada then he writes, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are gods, different parts and parcels. They are living entities, Nityana, with different grades of material power. But they cannot be equal to the Supreme God, Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna. It is like in this world, We see there is one prime minister, correct? And then you have cabinet ministers. Someone is for transport, someone is for railway, someone is for something else. They are different cabinet ministers, but they are not equal to the prime minister. Narendra Modi ji ek hi hai, right? There's only one prime minister. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is like that prime minister. He is that president. Indra, Chandra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna, Ganesha, Durga, Saraswati. They are the different cabinet ministers. Saraswati takes care of education, or Saraswati takes care of memory and education and singing and so on and so forth. And you have Ganesha, and you have Durga ji, and so many others. These are different cabinet ministers, but they are all working under the guidance of the president or the prime minister called Bhagavan Shri Krishna or Narayan or Vishnu. God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Who is saying? Brahmaji is saying. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Similarly, the Lord is worshipped even by the demigods like Brahma and Shiva. Shiva Virinchi Nutam Sharanyam Pratyarthi Ham Pranata Pala Bhavabdi Potam Vande Mahapukshate Charanara Vindam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 33. Shiva Virinchi. Shiva means Lord Shiva. Virinchi is Brahmaji. Nutam Sharanyam. Even Brahma and Shiva take shelter of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. So now what is the problem of demigod worship? Someone can say, why is ISKCON all the time saying demigod worship nahi karna chahiye, nahi karna chahiye, nahi karna chahiye? What's the problem here? It's not an ISKCON point. It's not a sectarian point. It is a point in Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita. Now, what is the point here? The point is the demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. Hiranyakashipu asked for a boon. The boons were finished. He was also finished. Brahmaji, who gave the boons, even his lifespan is limited. Brahmaji may have a bigger lifespan than us, लेकिन उनका भी अंत होगा. Brahmaji lives for 311 trillion 40 billion earthly years. That's a very long life. Still, even he has an end. Even he has a start. So the demigods have a start and end, and those who are praying to them and getting the boons, they also have a start and end. So both are temporary. Both are temporary. Srila Prabhupada was one time in a car and he saw a billboard. You see billboards? He saw a billboard, and the billboard it wrote temporary inconvenience, permanent solution. Srila Prabhupada saw that and started laughing. Prabhupada was slapping his thigh and Prabhupada started laughing. He said, no, material world means temporary solution, permanent inconvenience. That is material world. There is temporary solution, but there is permanent inconvenience, which is true. दिक्कत हमेशा आती है. There is always problems, and every solution that we have is temporary. So Prabhupada said, no, the billboard is wrong. Material world means temporary solution, permanent inconvenience. So we see that people worshipping powerful men to get some ministership in the government. We see in this world that people bribe, paisa dete hai. Why? So that they can get a position, they can get a higher prestige. But what happens? It's only short-lived. Similarly, demigod worship, asking them for boons is like bribing them. The boon is going to be short-lived, you're going to be short-lived, the demigod is also going to be short-lived. But worship of Krishna, Krishna is eternal. Your desire to be with him, that is eternal, and you will also be eternal when you're there with Krishna. So look at the difference. Demigod worship and worship of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Verse number 13. This is the second last verse of our day. Another popular verse. You see, so many popular verses today. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vivagashah tasya kartaram api mam vidhyakartaram apyayam. Balade Vidyabhushan is asking this question, that to perform nishkama karma without any obstacle, Bhagavan ki bhakti karne ke liye, my dear Lord, in order to perform bhakti, there are so many obstacles. How should we do it? And the Lord answers by saying Varnashram. When you do Varnashram Dharma, when you approach the Lord through Varnashram, then all these obstacles, the calamities that are there, they are gradually taken away. It's a path that is orchestrated by Bhagavan himself, based on the proclivities, based on the tendencies. Krishna has made four schools, four subdivisions, Chatur Varnam, Maya Srishtam. Guna Karma, based on Guna and Karma Vibhagasa, उनका विभाजन किया है. Based on Guna and Karma, based on qualities, inclinations, four schools have been made for approaching the Lord. So here we see, verse 13, Krishna creates Varnashram Dharma so that people could purify themselves. What is the purpose of Varnashram? To purify. Who has created? Krishna. Now the question arises, is Krishna part of Varnashram? No. Krishna is created, but he is not part of it. Krishna does not belong to any of these classes because he is the creator and he is not a conditioned soul. Bhagavan hum jaise nahi hai. He creates it, but he is out of that creation. So now the question is, what are the four subdivisions that Krishna has created? Chaturvarnyam, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Brahmana means they're in the mode of goodness. पठन पाठन यजन याजन उनको यज्ञ करना पसंद है, शास्त्र पढ़ना पसंद है, श्लोक कंठस्थ करना पसंद है, भक्तों के संग रहना पसंद है. They like all this. This is Brahmana quality. What does Brahmana mean? Brahman janati iti Brahmana. He who knows Brahman. Who's Brahman? Krishna. Brahman janati iti Brahmana. Only by wearing the Brahmin thread someone doesn't become a Brahman. One should know Bhagavan. One should know Krishna. Brahman janati iti Brahmana. So we find this category in Samaj, we find this category in society. Those who are very, very devotional, they are in the Brahmana category, mode of goodness. Second, Kshatriya, mode of passion. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, we find the whole of Mahabharata is Kshatriya. In this world also we see people have this Kshatriya mindset. Sometimes even after becoming devotee, there is a mixture of Brahmana and Kshatriya. Why? Because they cannot give up that Kshatriya spirit. They will revolt, they will speak. That is Kshatriya. विरोध करेंगे. Third, in Kshatriya, we will say we have personalities like those who are in the Indian Army, Indian Navy. They are Kshatriyas, protecting India from the border. Kshatriya. Then is Vaishya. Vaishya is those who are the merchant class, जो धंधा करते हैं, पनिया, those who have shops, things like that. Those who do trade, they are the third category. And finally, Shudra, who are in the mode of ignorance, who are the worker class, labor. So what is the purpose of the system? The purpose of the system is to elevate ourselves from the animal status to human status. Is to elevate ourselves from animal status to human status. Because just by wearing a t-shirt of being human, someone doesn't become a human. Activity should be like that. Activity should be like a human. Ahara, Nidra, Bhayamaito, Namucha. These four activities, even the animals do. Ahara, to eat. Nidra, to sleep. Bhaya, fear. Maithun, sex life. Ahara, Nidra, Bhayamaito, Namucha. Samanya Metar, Pashubhina Rana. These four activities are same even in animals. So what is that thing that separates a human from an animal? It is dharma. Dharma samsthapanata. It is dharma that separates a human from an animal. So the purpose of Varnashram is to elevate ourselves and eventually to purify. And when we follow this Varnashram under the guidance of a spiritual teacher, then there is systematic development of Krishna consciousness. छोड़ना कुछ भी नहीं है. If you are Kshatriya mindset, Vaishya, Brahmana, etc., Shudra, we keep continuing that. But according to the directions that Krishna has given in the Gita, eventually there will be purification of the heart. But apart from Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, there is one more class. That is Vaishnava. Vaishnavas are those who are followers or worshippers of Vishnu. Vaishnavas are considered higher than Brahmanas. Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Those who worship Vishnu. I am right now in Sri Rangam. In Sri Rangam, we have Ranganatha Swami, who is Vishnu, Narayan. Those who worship Vishnu are Vaishnavas. And Vaishnavas are superior even to the Brahmanas. They are the highest class. Srila Prabhupada writes, Brahmana by quality is supposed to know Brahman, the supreme absolute truth. One who transcends limited knowledge and reaches knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is SPOG, is a Vaishnava, which means someone who understands Krishna to be Bhagavan, Vishnu to be Bhagavan, Narayan to be Bhagavan, they are a Vaishnava. And they are superior than Chaturvarne Mahasrishta. They are superior than Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So, what is our goal? Our goal first is to become Brahmana and eventually elevate ourselves to become a proper Vaishnava. That is the Krishna conscious movement. It is the international society for Krishna consciousness. Why? Because Prabhupada wanted everyone to become Vaishnavas, to become the followers of Vishnu or followers of Krishna. And finally, we go to the last verse for today. Another popular verse. Namam karmani limpante, name karma phale spriha, iti mam yo vijanati karma bir nasapathyate. The Lord is unaffected. In the material world, a king may make rules, but a king may not be subject to the rules. Like, for example, you have traffic signal. A traffic signal may be red in color, but an ambulance doesn't have to wait for that. A policeman doesn't have to wait for that. Why? Because वो इनसे परे है. An ambulance or a policeman do not have to wait for a red signal, but you and I have to wait. It's a different thing that in India we may not wait, but in realistic we have to wait. Some place uh, one devotee was very humorously he was saying that how does it work in India? Green signal means you have to go. Yellow signal means you have to go faster before it turns red. And red means you have to look around. If there is no police, still go. That is how it works in India, correct? Green है तो जाना है. Yellow में और fast जाना है. और red में यदि police नहीं आसपास देखो police नहीं है तो फिर जाना ही है. But for a policeman who are working under the government, they really don't have to wait for the red sign or an ambulance. So similarly, the Lord is making rules, but he is not subjected to it. He is unaffected. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible, right? If someone breaks a law in India, then the person is put behind bars. Narendra Modi ji is not responsible. He will make rules, but because we have broken the rules, we are subject to the law. Similarly, Krishna makes the rules, but he is not subjected to it. This is what most people mistake, that when we are born, we do activities. We think Krishna is also being born, Krishna is also doing activities. Why is it that karma is only acting for me? वो भगवान है. यदि उनको भी कर्मा लग जाता, if even God had karma, what is the difference between Krishna and us? Same हो जाता ना, कोई फर्क नहीं होता. He is Bhagavan and he is beyond karma. Janma karma cha me divyam, as Sridhar Swami said, as Madhusudan Saraswati said, as Jiva Goswami said, the word divya is spiritual. Material logic cannot be applied to Bhagavan, cannot be applied to Krishna. And to understand this, one needs faith. There is no solution. भगवान को जानने के लिए श्रद्धा इसकी आवश्यकता है. One needs faith. And finally, to our last slide for today. Devotee who knows this, Bhagavan is unaffected, but even a devotee who knows this, he or she is also unaffected. Who is saying? Prabhupada, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan. 3 pramans. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of the law of karma and understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus is never subjected to laws of karma. One who does not know this becomes entangled himself in his fruitive reaction. अपने ही कर्म जाल में फंस जाता है व्यक्ति. If he doesn't understand Krishna to be Bhagavan. Yo veti tattvataha. That's the point. See, you see, all these verses are connected. One should understand Bhagavan, yo veti tattvata, in truth, in reality. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. Finally, to end our discussion, one time Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, what is the most important thing in Krishna consciousness? भक्ति में सबसे श्रेष्ठ कौन सा कार्य है? Is it book distribution? Is it cleaning the temple? Is it collecting funds? Is it collecting so many other things? So many activities are there. Srila Prabhupada, what is the most important activity that we should focus on? And you know what Srila Prabhupada said? Srila Prabhupada said the most important activity is to save oneself. अपना उद्धार करना ये सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है. Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj says that in his memories. To save oneself is the most important activity of Krishna consciousness. That is Yo Veti Tattvataha. That's the same point Srila Prabhupada is saying in this verse also. One who knows Bhagavan in truth, in reality, oh, then he doesn't come down to this world. But one who doesn't know this, अपने ही कर्म जाल में फंस जाता है. It's like sometimes a spider makes a web and gets entangled, or a cocoon makes a whole thing and gets entangled in his own endeavor. So the aim of ISKCON, the aim of Krishna consciousness, one is to become Vaishnava, two, to understand Bhagavan, and three, and most important, to liberate ourselves, apna uddhar karna, so that we can go back to Krishna and see the beautiful form of Krishna that we started our discussion with. Having said this, I very humbly want to stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samasta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hari Hari.